guys, I am back. So I wanted to continue our Moses message. This is where, again, where the Lord has me in, where He is keeping me in this moment. So I'm just going to continue on our Moses message and go from there. So in our last video, we were talking about how the Israelites were now in Egypt, and they were in Egypt because the Lord used Joseph to save them and to feed them, and to also feed and save Egypt as well. And then a new king rose up, and he's like, I don't know, Joseph. He got brand new and said, what have you done for me lately? You're just too much for me. Now I want you guys to get out. Not get out, but I'm going to put you in bondage for my purpose and for my plan, what I want you to do for me. And I'm going to lay this heavy burden on you. But every time he laid a heavy burden on them, they grew and they multiplied. And so this is kind of where we are right now. So before I keep going back into our verses, I want to touch on that one a little bit more. So when they were afflicted, I was touching on this before. I was like, when they were afflicted, when you are afflicted, when you are going through your trials, as I said before, you're going to have trials, you're going to have tribulations, you're going to have tests. So when it seems like everything around you is going so wrong, when it seems like everything that you do is wrong, when it seems like you just can't catch a break in life, and trust me, I know I've had my fair share of it, and I still have my own fair share of it, and I'm okay with that. Because everything that you go through in life, it does grow you and it does multiply you. So what I mean by multiplying you, it's multiplying you and growing you spiritually as before. So, but I'll leave that one alone for now. And we'll keep going on our story. I don't want to keep too much of your time here. And it says, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. They had pressure. They had masters. They had people coming and whipping them and hitting them and whatever. They wanted them to serve them with rigor. They said, I want it now. I don't care what you got to do it and do it now. You're living in my land. You're taking up all my space. Do it and do it now. It says, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service, where when they made them serve, was with rigor. So it's not enough that they were doing what, this king wanted them to do. It's not enough that they were building their pyramids. It wasn't enough that they were going. Can you imagine what that was like? Like, they didn't have the whole bulldozers. They didn't have the machines now. Can you imagine what it was like to cut out and chisel out stone back then, and then carry those huge stones where they are laid to this day? Do you know how much they had to go through to make sure this task was done? It wasn't an easy task. And the thing about it is, as much as they were afflicted, as much as the scene, I'm setting the scene for Moses, as much as they were afflicted, God's like, I'm still going to multiply you and grow you, because the more they put on you, they can't stop you. The more people put on you, they can't stop you. The more the enemy puts on you, he can't stop you. So the more that's added, God was still with them. He was still with them. He still kept good to his promise. He told them before, you know what, your people are going to go in bondage for 400 years, but I'm going to bring them out. And that's exactly what happened. He brought them out. But he didn't forget the promise to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob and etc. He didn't forget his promise. He told him, I'm going to make sure your seed is multiplied, and no one can count it, because no one can count the sand. No one can count the stars, and if you try it, it's impossible. It doesn't exist. It doesn't work. And that's why he told him this, because you can't number how many people came from the descendants of Abraham. So the purpose of this right here is our verse we just did. They were in bondage. They were with rigor and hard masters, but God was still with them. That's the great thing. Even though you are in your trial, in your test, in your tribulation, God is still with you. He hasn't left. He hasn't forgotten you. You're just going through it right now, but keep the course straight. Don't turn left nor right. Keep straight. I promise you, there's a reward at the end. I promise you that the person that went in the trial and tribulation is not the person that's going to exit. It's not. You are not that person. And you know how some people say, you know what, I like the way you were. I miss the old you. Who are you? I miss the old you. Even though you're a better person, even though you're a better version of yourself, even though you've gone through some things and the Lord has made you better, they still miss that part of you way back when. But the thing is, you went through those trials and tribulations to make you better, not just for yourself, but for the kingdom of God and for those all around you. They just have to recognize it and see it, that you went through something not just for yourself, not just for the kingdom of God, but also for them. So then we're going to go to the next part of the story. Again, we're still setting the scene for Moses. We're just setting the scene for Moses before he even arrives. So then, that big old Goliath back then, the king of Egypt, the big old Goliath, this is their Goliath. You know, David and Goliath, this is their Goliath. Their Goliath was this king. This king was standing in their way. This king was you know, just that. He was standing in their way. He was scared. He's scared. And the thing is that your enemy's scared. The people who when I come against you are actually scared because they can't handle the new thing that's about to happen. They can't handle and take in the change that you're going through. And your enemies are like, okay, how can I stop this from happening? You can't. Not when God's hand is in it. You can't. So he didn't stop helping his people. He didn't stop their destiny. He didn't stop their process. He didn't stop anything. He was still with them. Now the king says, he spake to the Hebrew midwives. He spake to the Hebrew midwives, okay, of which the name of one was Sapphira. I think I'm saying her name right. Forgive me if I'm not. And the name of the other was Puah. And he said, when do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools. If it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. So we have, again, another thing that's coming against something that's big that's about to happen, something big that's about to be created. Not only were they being afflicted with rigor, they were being, you know, they had masters with they were just hard and harsh with them, very much like slavery. And they were in slavery, they were in bondage. And the masters was just being so hard to them, and no matter what they did, you know, there are people they thought was just less than, and they felt they wanted to be that way. They felt powerful to stand over somebody else. So not only now does he give him hard labor, now he's like, now I'm really afraid. Because every time I afflict them, every time something happens, they keep growing. They keep multiplying. The enemy's like, I don't understand. I keep doing all this stuff. I keep putting these appetizing things in front of them. I keep dangling that shiny diamond in front of them to come and see me. But they keep going. I don't understand how they're growing more spiritually. This makes no sense, because logically, in the devil's mind, he's like, this should work. It's worked before. It's worked for years. So why is it not working now? I don't understand why it's not working now. because this person fell for the same tricks that I gave them day after day, year after year, month after month. They've always fallen for it, but I don't understand how they're growing. So the enemy is confounded and confuddled. Like, I don't get it. But here's a great thing. He doesn't have to get it. You don't have to get it yet. But you keep going on that straight in path. You don't turn left. You don't turn right. Everything that you're afflicted with, you keep overcoming it. And so then now there's a new one in your face, right? Now there's a new affliction in your face. So the king's like, you know what? I'm going to kill all the firstborn sons. That'll stop it. They won't multiply anymore. I'm killing all the firstborn sons. They can't multiply, right? Wrong. So the enemy is like, you know what? Fine. If I can't kill them with hard labor, if I can't get them to not jump into their destiny, if I can't get them on the wrong path, I'm just going to try and kill the thing that's inside of them instead. Did you hear that? I am now going to try and kill the thing that's inside of them instead. So now he's trying to attack you in ways where you just don't understand. You're like, God, what is going on? I don't get this. It's just some weird, crazy things that's happening that's been unheard of. You've never experienced it before. He's like, all right, so I'm going to really lay on them. I'm going to give everything I have in them because it didn't work when I did what I used to do. They're like, all right, that's not working for me anymore. But now I'm just going to try and kill the thing that's inside of you. I'm going to try and kill the thing that the Lord's trying to birth in you. I need you to understand the significance of this. I'm trying to kill the thing the Lord's trying to birth in you, in your life, stepping into your destiny, stepping into your purpose. He's trying to kill that thing inside of you. So don't go off this path. Do not turn left. Do not turn right because you're delaying it. And the enemy is like, the moment he can stop you, he's like, I got him. I can stop the plan that God had for their lives. I see he's doing something to them. I see him growing spiritually. I see them growing in faith. So I'm going to try and stop the thing that the Lord's birthing in me. I'm going to try and stop it. But let's keep reading. He says, but the midwives feared God. They feared God. The first mistake is he went to the Hebrew midwives. That's his first mistake. That was the first mistake he could have did, trying to kill you. So here's the thing. When he comes against you, I want you to understand the significance. He didn't go to and switch the midwives out. He didn't give them like Egyptian midwives. He didn't give them other midwives from different nations. They still had the Hebrew midwives. So he went to them and he said, I want you to kill the firstborn. I want you to kill the sons, not the first, just all the sons. So the enemy, what is he going to do when you're trying to birth something? This tells you right here. He's going to go to what you know. He's going to go and try to use who you know. He's going to use your family. He's going to use your inner circle. He's going to use those people who mean so much to you to get to you, to stop birthing you. He's going to try and use everybody else who knows you, stop birthing you, to stop the thing birthing inside of you. So if you can block out, even if you're not alone, if you can block out everybody else, if you can block out the noise, if you can block out and set aside time just to go in your prayer closet, just to go and spend some time with the Lord, to set yourself apart and consecrate yourself and really mean it with all of your heart, your soul, and your mind, I guarantee you it will be the best thing you could ever do for yourself, because then you start to remove the people out of your head The Lord starts to take those thoughts out of your head that you had before. And the enemy can't use what you know and who you know against you. So even if he tries to, the best thing you can do for yourself spiritually, and even in your flesh, because your mind is still weak, it is a mind, it's your flesh. The best thing you can do is literally spend time, and I mean spend some time with the Lord and consecrate yourself, and do not listen to the outside noise. When you get a thought, rebuke it. When you get a feeling in your heart, turn it to the Lord and give it to him. That's the best thing you can do. Because the enemy, one, they got brand new. Two, now they have hard labor. Three, he's using the people that are close to you to try and hurt you. So the next thing I want to get to is verse 17 is where we were. It says, but the midwives feared God. So the thing is, even though the enemy is trying to use people around you that know you and trying to get to you that way, God's like, you're funny. No, that's not happening. Sometimes they succeed and sometimes they don't. But if you have people really in your corner who knows who God is, and even if you don't, the Lord will try and protect you some of the way. As long as you, even all the way, as long as you give it to him and let him help you with it, and you truly give it to him and lay it at his feet, he'll help you fight your enemies. They will fall at your feet. It doesn't matter how big the mountain may look, it will fall and it will go away. You just got to get through it. So then the enemy's like, all right, the king of Egypt's like, all right, so listen. He called the midwives back, and he called him, and it was like, why did you do this thing to me? Why? He says, and the king of Egypt called midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men and children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, and they are lively, and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. So, the thing is, sometimes when you have family or friends or people who the enemy is trying to use, they tend to, the Lord, they tend to kind of figure it out. Where you find yourself arguing unnecessarily, when you find that they're being mean for no reason, when you find that they're just got an attitude all the time, and you know they're in your space and they're just always constantly coming at you. Sometimes they realize that, you know what, that's enough as this. But you know, for the moment, I think I'm gonna stop this video, record another one. We're about 20 minutes in, so I'm gonna stop this one, let you watch this one, and then I will keep recording. Thanks again for watching.